Welcome to the Pink Dress Effect with Shannon
and Ken.
We are excited to be here today. Today we are going to talk about pretty pressure. It's that pressure that we all feel, and I'm sure it affects men too.
Yeah.
To be perfect.
Yes.
Perfect hair, perfect body, perfect clothes, perfect face. And we're all aging. We're all, right?
And you feel it at every stage of life, from the time you're young all the way until you're older.
And that's really where it starts.
Yeah.
I mean, and now I think the way society is, it's like with social media.
Yeah,
like
you got to be perfect.
But we had magazine and Cosmo. Cosmo says you're fat. Remember that?
Oh, man. They were showing different clips of things from like when we were young, and the pressure of weight.
I mean, like
huge.
you think about, the weight pressure. Oh, my God. And I mean, you've known me forever. And so, I mean, I have struggled with my weight.
Yeah.
But it's like, I remember looking at Cosmo and Glamour magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, when you're older, you find out all those women don't even look like all those women in the pictures. Because they're beautiful women, but they were all airbrushed. And so maybe their legs are
There's
not
some
that
cellulite on them, or cellulite.
Yeah.
Is it cellulite?
Yeah.
Cellulite?
And that's one of the beautiful things, I think, and we'll get into the conversation, is that, like, you go into stores now and they've got the ads and people have gaps and people have cellulite and stretch marks. And I think it's a beautiful thing for little girls now and boys to see that now, because freckles even, right?
Yeah,
I mean, all the stuff that...
Embrace your imperfections.
Yeah, because are they really imperfections? I mean, that's who you are. So, like, if you're constantly, I've got this, I've got that, well, guess what? She's got this and she's got that too.
Yeah.
But if we see these magazines, and then, of course, now the filters on social media, I mean, people are doing things like what we're doing, like a podcast, and they've got a filter over. Yeah. We do not. We are we are real.
You get what you get.
You get what you get. Exactly. We're not going to do that because we aren't perfect. And
no, by far.
By far. And the thing is that just because you have those things, it doesn't mean you're not beautiful.
No.
And, I have, really curly hair, and obviously today it's not.
Yeah.
But as straight.
But you're still beautiful.
But as straight became like the norm, I remember feeling like some kind of way, because it was like, I have this curly hair and everybody tells me how beautiful it is and how amazing it is. But when you walk in a room and people with straight hair, you don't feel that way.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I'm starting to be like, no, I'm different, and different is good.
Yeah.
You know?
Different is great.
As I have my straight hair today.
Yeah.
But I love my curls. I do.
Yeah.
I finally have embraced that it is beautiful. It's different. I have crazy big hair, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's a part of your personality. Your hair, you see your hair, and here's Shannon, and she's coming. She has big hair, but that is you. So it is beautiful.
It all goes together.
It goes
right?
together perfectly.
The perfect package. But but before we really, really get started, I do want to thank Sparkling Creations and Casper Graphic Designs in Rocky Mount. They have been so kind to us, and we're trying a new look, and as you can see, it's beautiful. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So wanted to make sure we didn't miss them by thanking them. Yeah, so thank you so much for this today. But some of the things we're going to really talk about is just personal growth, navigating societal pressure, to be beautiful. Why do you think that is? Like, why do you think society,
Well, I was thinking about the first time that I really felt the pressure as far as societal expectations. And we've talked in other episodes about our relationships with our moms and everything. And I love my mother, and I know my children love me. But the first time was I was about 10 years old. Wow. And it had to do with weight.
Yeah.
And I think that was my first diet. And I was eating like tuna fish and stuff like
that
my God. Back in the day. But that's when I think I first became conscious of an expectation regarding weight. And then I also, with my children, and they'll tell the stories now. They're like, you took us to Weight Watchers at like around the same age.
But did you take them to go with you, or did you take them to join?
No, I took one. I'm not even sure if it's both of them, but maybe one of them.
Okay.
To join, but it wasn't because I felt like they needed to lose weight. It's because I saw the impact that they were feeling about their weight. So
because of society.
Because of society. So we would go shopping, and it would be a nightmarish experience of trying to pick out clothing that they felt comfortable in. And so I thought I was helping, but I was not.
But give yourself some grace, because you were helping. You were trying.
I was trying.
You were.
I was doing my best.
But you were trying, because the thing is that you saw your children hurting.
Yes.
And you knew, and as an adult what people think about people as you
Yeah.
gain weight, and you
Yeah.
didn't want your children to feel the same pain that maybe you've experienced.
Yes.
And so really, Kim, you were doing it out of
Yeah.
love. Now,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, and they'll let us
I
know.
had a different strategy, but the older the older I got,
Yeah.
the more comfortable I became with my weight. The more that I could talk to them from a perspective of just dressing the body that you have,
Right.
and loving the body that you currently have,
Yeah.
and not feeling like you have to wait or be a perfect size
Yeah.
to dress nice and to look good.
And you've known me. I mean, gosh, I was like, well, you didn't know me back then, but I mean, super, super fit. And then life circumstances, think a little bit of emotional eating or what have you,
Yeah.
right? I gained a lot of weight. And so you met me when I was at probably my biggest
Yeah.
ever. And, but mine is kind of the same story with my mother. Love you, Mom. But and it's something that when she has shared stories with me about her mother, who was like 4'11", weighed 90 pounds.
Yeah.
I weighed 125, I think 9 months pregnant. My mother is never going to be that size, and neither am I. I mean, she's 5'5". Like, you're not going to be 90 pounds. It would be terrible.
Yeah.
And so, but she had her own experiences with her mother that then she passed on to me. And so, kind of the same thing, the weight thing. I remember she was in this program called TOPS, Take Off Pounds Sensibly. It's kind of like Weight Watchers, I guess. And I remember going with my mother because I felt like I needed to lose weight. And she was supportive of it.
Yeah.
And probably the same thing. She didn't want me to feel the same way, but I remember that too. And, sometimes when you think about the pressure, because I feel like the weight pressure was more when we were kids.
It was. I mean, I was watching, I think they were showing like on the model show with Tyra Banks.
Oh, right.
And they were showing the way that people would talk to the models about their weight and different talk shows.
And they weighed nothing.
Yeah, and it was a time when it was totally acceptable to fat shame you.
It's
terrible.
terrible.
Now it really isn't acceptable. I mean, people still do it, but it's not really
It's
acceptable.
not. It's not.
It.
And one of my other girlfriends who Amy, her daughter's getting married, and she's like a niece to me, and they invited me to go dress shopping with her. And she is beautiful, and her maid of honor was with us, and she's beautiful too. And Amy and I discussed how confident they seemed compared to what
we would have done.
We were, and probably how we are still now.
Yeah.
And they're so free with their bodies, and they are confident. And it was like, I wish I would have had the confidence that those two have when I was that age.
Yeah,
Because maybe I still
not.
wuld be all like, and I still struggle with that, I think. I think it's
Yeah.
something, it's deep ingrained, and I am more accepting of who I am in my body. But it all starts when your childhood, and it's a really big thing. But I think it's even more than that, right? Like as we're aging.
Yes.
I've got to go get Botox and fillers and do all these things so I can keep my skin looking great.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, do my friends look older than me? Do my friends do I look that old?
Yes.
You kind of say that, and you're just like, oh my gosh, why can't we just age gracefully?
Yeah, and I want to age gracefully. I really do, but I have found myself as I get older, then, I don't know, it must be the anti-aging products I'm looking, I don't know, but they pop up in your feed and you start seeing plastic surgeons. Or maybe they figured out my age and they know maybe it's time for that.
It's time.
But you start seeing them pop up and then you say, oh, yeah, well, that looks good. They took them back 10 years. They took them back 20 years. You're like, well, I never thought about plastic surgery or facelift before, but maybe someday I might.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I do want to look good.
I do
want
too.
to look good.
And the thing is, you can be beautiful at any age,
yeah,
I think.
and you can look good with your wrinkles.
Yeah.
But I do the pressure of that, and for me, I think it's more the pressure about looking familiar to myself. I want to always look like
because you don't want to go you've seen people that have gone too far, and they don't even look like themselves anymore. Like when you look at pictures, and to your point, right? Maybe we have a dimple in our chin, and that's like for my mom, and you go get it filled. Well, then that's your mom is gone, right?
Yes,
it's like there's pieces of you that are from someone in your family, and I don't know. I'm kind of like you. Look, I'm not saying I won't do Botox and fillers. And I don't know, the surgeries, like the facelifts and stuff, that's a little scary for me.
It is because it's permanent. And, if
Yeah.
they jack it too tight, you're stuck with it.
And, genetically, my family, we are blessed. We've got pretty good skin.
Yeah, me too.
And I was going to say your family, too. So I've been very lucky in that way, blessed, really. But it's going to come. There's going to be a time where I'm going to be like, okay, I think I need this.
Yes.
And I think a little tweak here and there is okay.
Yeah, and I think, but it's really about defining it for yourself.
Yeah.
So you can't let society dictate it to you, or you will constantly be on that merry-go-round of trying to conform to what society tells you is okay.
And then you don't look right. I mean, you look so, but you might look so picture perfect, right?
Yeah.
And people are like, oh my God, she's amazing. But
Yeah.
but her face doesn't move and it just looks so fake. And I just don't want to be fake. I don't want to look fake.
I don't want to be fake either. I want to be myself. I want to be the best version of myself.
With a little tweak here and
With
there.
a little tweak.
Nothing wrong with that, Kim. I
Yeah,
think that's
definitely.
okay. Another thing I wanted to bring up, we talked about weight. I've always been pretty chesty.
Yes.
And I remember when I was in, I think it was 5th grade, I lived in England, and my mother obviously could tell I probably needed a bra.
It was time.
It was time, but we went bathing suit shopping, and we were military, so the BX, the military store, and I remember being in the dressing room, and I needed a different size for my bathing suit.
Yeah.
And she hands over the door bras, and I remember I had this overwhelming feeling like, oh my God, it was the weirdest feeling.
A good feeling or like embarrassment?
Embarrassed.
Embarrassed.
I was little girl. I was little
Yes.
girl, but I did develop early.
Yeah, me
And
too.
and I've always had, a larger chest. But as, people would, as I got older, right, they became like a focal point, and people would look at, hello, Shannon, how are you? And then they would look at my face, and I started becoming very insecure. And then in high school, I mean, I laugh, but it is kind of messed up.
It is, yeah.
And the way that society is today, these kids wouldn't have gotten away with it. They'd probably get suspended. These guys that were my friends, they called me Breasto, and they called me Breasticious.
It's horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, but on my powder puff jersey from the football game, I believe it says Breasticious on there. I don't think you could get away with that today. But my point is that
and look how you took ownership of it.
Yes.
Because you took the name.
And my whole life, and then I got in the military, and I was having a pain, and I take my big camouflage shirt off, and the first thing the doctor said, she didn't say, what are you here for today? She goes, do those hurt you? That was what she said to me. So it's been my whole life.
Yeah.
And so I've been very self-conscious of my chest, because of that. And I dress accordingly.
Yeah.
So most people don't even know.
Yeah, because even now, I think you'll say something sometimes, and I'm like, you're just remembering another time.
Yeah.
Because now they're perfect. Yeah. So they're just perfect.
Well, I do this
for
a
your
lot.
For your frame.
Yeah, but I do this a lot.
Yeah.
But I've also had a breast reduction.
Yeah.
But that's something I think that my whole life you become defined by that feature of your body.
Yes.
And I'm confident that probably people from high school, she's the one with the big breasts, It's like you remember those things.
No. They're probably like, she's the one with the big personality. That's what they're going to say.
I don't know about all that. Well, maybe that too, because I did get most talkative.
I bet you did.
but that stuff stays with you.
It does.
And so the weight, the chest, whatever, it stays with you. And so how do you when people are like that to you? I mean, maybe it's better now. I don't know. It's probably, maybe it's, I don't know.
I don't know. I think as for myself, as I have become more confident with who I am, I'm more confident with my weight.
Yeah.
Now, I've also come to see my weight as more about what's going on with me at that time, personally. So I know that my weight fluctuates according to my emotions because I'm an emotional eater.
We've discussed that, yeah.
I tend to stop and say, okay, what's going on in your life that you need to change, and not focusing so much on the weight, but the weight is just a reflection of what's going on with me. And so that has helped me be less critical about weight and to give myself grace. That is, I'm using a negative coping skill of eating, but the reality is I'm probably just trying to get through things, and so I'm using the coping skill that I know to use.
But the thing is, Kim, no matter what, you're beautiful. And we have,
and I feel beautiful. I felt beautiful at all sizes, really.
See, and that's a good thing with you because I didn't. I didn't. Remember, I would hardly go shopping.
Yeah. No, we're like, go shop, get some clothes. You deserve to be
It was almost
beautiful.
like somewhere in my crazy mind, you're thinking, I don't deserve to go buy those beautiful clothes because I don't feel that way.
Yes.
And I think I've, like you, as you've grown into yourself, you do feel more confident and whatever. But I think, though, too, with weight, like, I think we get so caught up in, oh, I got to be this number or this size.
Yeah.
But the reality is there are some of the most beautiful women in the world are overweight.
Yes.
And
you say it all the time, and you will see a beautiful woman.
Oh, and I'm
who's
like,
overweight,
I want that confidence.
Right. And or their clothes or something, and you will compliment them. But sometimes it's less about how you perceive other people. It's just
It's
how
yourself.
It's yourself.
What about wearing a bathing suit? Like, I know for me, it's like, girl, rock that bikini. I work hard.
Right.
But I'll be like, oh, well, and then I'll see a girl on the beach, and I'm like, you go, girl.
She doesn't care.
She is living her best life and not caring about what anybody's thinking and enjoying her best life. And I think that's what it's all about.
And you have to get to that point where you literally just don't care.
I think it's beautiful because we all have something. And so, but it goes back to those societal expectations and what is the norm in our society, do you think? I mean, perfect?
Yeah. You know what, Shannon? I think that is the norm. We're all seeking and chasing perfection.
Which is
But
sad.
perfection according to whose standards, too.
Right.
So you have to think about that also.
Well, and that's why I think it's really awesome that these stores have really embraced, like we talked about earlier, like having the ads with different size people, just all the things.
Different ethnicities, different races, body shapes are different.
I think it's great.
Yes, embracing all of that because...
And they're all beautiful.
Yeah, and there are plenty of stores that when I was younger, and even now, you have to learn what works for your body.
Yeah.
Not everybody it has genes for a curvy body. And even, if a person's smaller than me, just having hips. Sometimes, you're not big, but you have hips. And every store doesn't embrace that philosophy. So you might not be able to find jeans in that brand or that store.
Right. And something I learned, too, is that, like, even with shirts, sometimes I might lead a little bit bigger, even still. You buy the shirt for the size that fits here, and if you have to get it taken in a little bit, you just get it taken in a little bit. And I do that a lot with dresses and stuff. Like, I'll have to do it because I've got to get a little bit bigger size.
Yeah.
But then it's bigger in other places. So you just, like you said, you learn what works for you.
Yeah, definitely. And what about the cost?
Oh, gosh.
The cost of being beautiful and just trying to be perfect.
Well, it's funny you say that because we have a gala that we're going to on Saturday. And we talked about last night. I was like, I want to get like not a makeover, but go to one of those places and do a glam. I want to. And Kim was like, girl, that's going to cost you $500.
I was like, they're going to sell you every product they got in the store.
Exactly. But and I don't want to look like so made up, but I do want to. But to your point, $500.
Yeah.
Do I want to spend $500 on makeup for one night? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
No, it is very expensive. And I've seen people on social media talk about their whole regimen. I've talked about my skincare, and I'll own that. But there are people, if you get your nails done and your toes done and you go get facials and you get your hair done and you're getting the Botox and you're getting the makeup and
it's
you're
expensive.
It adds up as you can spend a tremendous amount of money maintaining this image of perfection.
Yeah.
A lot of things I do myself.
Yeah.
I don't like spending money and giving it to other people for something I could do myself. But the cost can be very, very high.
Expensive. But the great thing is, and I know you're really good about it, is like there's so many dupes out there.
Yes.
So you can get like this high-end look.
Yes.
Like when I go on Monday, right? And then be like, oh, I'm going to go over here. Because
I'm like, Shannon, I know what you can get that's just like that.
Exactly. Well, that's the beautiful thing. Yeah, because you're like a little guru there. Because you do want to look beautiful, but you don't want to spend all your money on it. I mean, who wants to do that?
And that's what comes along with, too, like with branding. So I have never bought into the idea, and what's one of the things I love about Sky, too. Sky has never liked stuff with like somebody else's name on it.
Oh, okay.
And I'm kind of that way, too. I don't care about like a name brand of anything.
So it can be like a lower brand
right.
or whatever.
But sometimes society will also tell you need to have the high-end names. So to dress, the bag you wear, the shoes you wear, all of those
But when
things.
I was younger, I cared about that.
Did you care?
Oh my gosh, and my sister, oh my gosh, love you, Katie. I remember.
Tell Katie's story.
I know, she wouldn't even go into Kmart. Remember where there's Kmart?
Yeah.
She would not go in there. She'd sit in that car. She would sit in that car. Like, I'm not going in there. But I was like that, I think, with some stores, too. It's like everything had to be, Gap, Limited, whatever, Express. Like, it had to be, like somebody's over here checking your tag. I mean, like, who cares?
See, I haven't, maybe, I don't know. I've always liked expensive perfume.
Okay.
Now that I have always liked, but other things I just don't care. And people don't know. They don't know.
No.
You know, and so, I mean, I tell people tell me that I look nice and they don't know I probably paid $50 for the whole outfit. You know?
Because you know what to do. But
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing. You know how to dress, and you're not going to waste all your money. Oh, I got to get this designer brand just for whatever reason, right? Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Let me think. Because I've always thought about this. You know, if I were wealthier, would I do it? But I still think I wouldn't. I don't think so. But I'm not wealthier, so I don't know. Maybe I will.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you hear stories about people having a $4,000 dress.
Yeah.
No,
I don't.
Amazon.
I feel like I would want to invest that in other things.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I don't know. The costs can get very high. So just, do what you like to do and always look for a less expensive option if you can.
Right. And, we were talking about aging earlier. Like, I think about, you see these women that are just beautiful, 70 years old.
Yes.
They take care of themselves. They go, there's a woman, and I wish I had written her name down. She's 80, I think 81. I believe it was her and her sister. They decided to get fit. Mm-hmm. And they started getting fit. Well, the sister passed away. So this sister continued on. This girl, her body is banging. I mean, she looks amazing. Like, she's got a better body than most 50-year-olds. Like, I'm not even kidding you. But she made a commitment to her sister for health because they had some health issues. And then her sister died, and it inspired her. And you look at this woman that was like, there's no way. I think she's 80, 81. I shared it actually on Facebook last night because she's just so inspiring to me. And I'm like, I want to be her. Yeah. And I imagine she doesn't have injections and stuff. She just worked out and took care of herself and what
just
she put in her body.
Yeah.
To live a long life and not end up like her sister. And so she just an inspiration to me. So you can do it in different ways.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think it's about questioning your motives. So if you are really caving to what society says you should be doing, then you should kind of check yourself and say, okay, why am I doing this? Do I really enjoy, going and getting the facials, going on? Do I enjoy that? Do I want to spend my time doing that? Or am I doing that because I feel the pressure to do it? And that's what should check you. If you're not enjoying the experience, then don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's not for you. And I saw yesterday, it was a reel of Ally McGraw coming out of a restaurant.
Oh.
And she's in her 80s, and she was gorgeous.
80?
Yes, she was 81.
Oh, my.
And she had on this sophisticated, elegant black suit, and her hair was back in a bun. And, you could see she had her makeup beautifully done. She was confident and beautiful, and she was 81 years old.
Wow.
And that is and it didn't look like she had had any work done.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, that's what I want to do, too.
And you can still be stylish. And,
yes.
Sometimes I know people will say, I think we talked in an earlier episode, my son, something I had on, he's like, why are you wearing that? Like, all the girls wear that. Like, I was trying to I'm like, no, all the moms wear that stuff too, buddy, just so you know. Yeah. But it's like, maybe.
Do what you want.
But there's this like, we were talking about mom shaming, right? It's like, I think too, like, some people think, right, you're a mom, you have to look this certain kind of way. No, why can't you be a mom and feel the best and do, be beautiful? Like,
you can be the hot mom.
Why not? I think
if you want to be the hot mom.
I think being the hot mom is great. And actually,
You can also be the tired mom with your hair all over the place if you want.
I was in Florida with my son, with my girlfriend, and there was a shirt because my son actually was picking at me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, does it make you uncomfortable that people tell me I'm pretty? Like.
It might.
And he was feeling some kind of way about it. Like, and it was bothering him. And there was this T-shirt. I love my hot mom. And I was like, I was this close to buying it for him. Of course, he would never wear it. But, it was like, I wanted to get it for him. And so I took a picture of it and I sent it to him. I said, do you want me to get this as your souvenir? From my trip to Florida. He's like, you're so dumb. Like, he's just like, you are the dumbest mom. But I'm just like, he remembers me. Well, it's funny. He didn't remember me when I was overweight and probably a little, I don't want to say frumpy, but probably I was. I mean, I was. It just is what it is. Yeah. And my mom did this.
Yeah, but you got to think about frumpy in the sense of, like, at that time, you wouldn't go buy the clothes.
I wouldn't. I could have been better, but I didn't.
Right.
It was you're exactly right.
Yeah.
And so my mother made this scrapbook for my birthday, and he was going through. He's like, "Is that my mom?" Like he didn't remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like me, and just a different version. But he's looking at me, so it's almost like I went from this really glamorous, fit girl, and then for a bunch of years I wasn't, and then I've come back, I think, to the girl I was before, but just better.
Yes.
But he was literally looking at pictures and was like, "That's my mom." And I hate to think what he was thinking through his mind, because I could tell with his voice what he was thinking. But, you know, and
he didn't know that version of you.
No. That version of me was not very happy.
Yeah.
I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And so he knows that version of me that, you know, I wake up this personality, and he's like, "Take it down a notch, Mom," you know? But I have so much to live for, and I had so much to live for then, too, but I was just in a different place in my life.
Different place. And when you talked before, too, about the mom shaming, like that age group, one of the other things that I think a lot of women face is the pressure to kind of bounce back after pregnancy.
Oh, yeah.
And just be, you know,
it's just 10 months.
You pop out a baby, and then you're supposed to just have your flat stomach back again. When in all reality, you're probably going to look pregnant for a couple more months.
Oh my gosh, it
until
takes
that stomach goes down.
Well, they say 9 months. It's really 10 months. It's 40 weeks, right? So if you think about it, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And maybe you didn't have a flat stomach to begin with. I mean, and like,
and
you just had a baby. You just brought a life into this world. It's such a beautiful thing. And we need to be perfect afterwards.
Who are we being perfect for?
Exactly.
Who are we bouncing back for?
But I mean, you know, to talk about pregnancy, right? Like I remember after the epidural wore off, they were like, "You need to get up and get a shower to get moving." And I remember I was by myself. I looked in the mirror and I saw my stomach, and I remember touching it. Because like it was hard when he was in there, and I'm touching it, and I remember it's terrible.
What'd you say?
I'm like, it's like a damn bowl full of jelly. And I remember like, oh my God. I remember thinking, this is gross. Like I was like, what the? But you don't know until you go through it. You can read all the books in the world, but until you go through it, you don't know what your body's gonna do. You don't even know what it's like to have a baby, right? So the next, you have another one. I'm sure I only have one, so I don't know, but I imagine the second one, you were more prepared. You knew what your body was going to do.
Yes.
I just remember being like, ugh. Like, you know what I mean? Because I didn't know that was going to happen. I thought it would just go back down. I didn't know.
You didn't know it'd stick around for a while.
I
remember walking past like a grocery store window, and I think it was Sky, I had my second child, and thinking, oh my God, I still look pregnant. And
how old was she?
Scott, she was newborn. She hadn't been.
Dear God, you didn't even give yourself.
I gave myself like no time, and I actually lost weight during my pregnancies because I was so sick.
That's funny. I did the same thing. I was smaller after.
Yeah. So, but the changes to your body. I don't know. Hopefully women now, and I think they are much more accepting, because you see some influencers and they'll show their kind of post-pregnancy body. And that helps women to see that this is just a normal body. Yeah. This is just what women look like. You know, if somebody bounces back with a flat stomach perfectly after, then
that's
maybe
genetics.
That's their genetics.
It's just genetics. And you know, the other thing is too, like I think about, there's some folks that I follow on social media.
Yeah.
Because you get so wrapped up, oh, they look so perfect and all this other stuff. But then it's like, you think about it and you think, they are standing and all, they know how to stand.
Yeah.
They know how to stand.
Oh, man, an angle can ruin you.
But then, or they have their pants up high or whatever. But then I love the influencers that then turn it around and they're like, this is what it really looks like.
Yes.
You know, this is really what I look like. And I love that because...
Yeah, let's do an episode, Shannon, with no makeup on. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Why not? I mean, I'm fine without makeup. Honestly, you know what? It's funny. I was talking to one of my friends the other day. I was getting ready to go to the gym. And, I mean, I had no makeup on. I had my hair down, but I had no makeup on because that's how I go to the gym on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And then we actually talked about how... I was like, yeah, I'm going to go into the gym and there's women, they're all made up and, you know, wearing the, you know, like straight up full makeup, lashes, and I can't understand it. And no judgment if you do.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I mean, I work out with makeup on when I get off of work and I go straight to the gym. Yes. But I'm not going to reapply my lipstick to go work out. Like, I wear red lipstick. I'm not doing that. And he was like, well, Shannon, maybe it makes them feel good.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, maybe they're there to catch a man. That's what I was thinking.
But maybe it really does make them feel good.
Yeah.
You know, because when I was younger.
No, I agree.
I was younger, I didn't care about being out without makeup on. Like
Okay.
I didn't wear makeup out, and I just didn't.
What, you just meaning you'd get up and just go run errands?
Yeah,
or
run
whatever?
errands and didn't care about that. Now that I'm older, I do want a little concealer because the circles, my dark circles, make me look like I'm exhausted. So I want a little concealer, I want a little mascara, and I want a little lip gloss. So that's what I feel comfortable with now.
Well, and it's interesting you say that because after him and I had the conversation, I thought about it while I was working out because I saw a couple of the women I was referring to. And it was pretty early. And, I mean, they look beautiful. I mean, I'm not hating, but I'm there to work out. But one thing, if I work out early enough, I normally just will go run my errands right from the gym, hot mess, whatever. And I'm confident doing that.
Yeah.
But I noticed the other day after I worked out, I went home and showered, got my makeup on. I was just in very casual clothes to go do some errands, and I went to the library. But I did feel better because I could have went in my sweaty clothes, but I know that I thought about it, and I was like, but I did feel better. So to his point, maybe it makes them feel good, and it wasn't really, oh, I got to look hot because I might meet somebody. It was really they wanted to be the best version of themselves at the gym.
Yes.
So they went to the gym, and I think that's why it's so important to
do what you want.
Do what you want to do.
Do what feels good to you. I remember visiting my grandmother in the nursing home one day, and I'm putting my makeup on and doing all that stuff. And I think the girls might have said something to me, but I was like, this is what I want to do, you know? So I think, you know, when we've talked about all this and we've kind of talked about the different ages and the different things that people experience, women experience at different ages, but really it does come down to is, you know, what do you want?
What do you want?
Don't let society tell you what makes you feel good about your own body.
Exactly.
You know,
and
do
your
what
hair,
feels
your
good.
face.
Yeah.
And I know, like, with the natural hair, a lot of people are really embracing that.
Yes.
And again, I had my hair blown out, but it was for an appointment I had. But, you know, it took me a lot of years to embrace my natural hair.
Yes.
And
black women, definitely.
And
definitely.
I've worn it. Well, and we've talked about that, how I will see, like, some of these ads about black women that will say, you know, about their hair. And I understand exactly what they're saying because I've been told your hair doesn't look professional because it's big and curly. Your hair, I've had that. And I'm like, okay, but that's who I am. Like, this is my God-given feature, you know, kind of. So we've talked about that, how I can relate and I understand that because I should be able to wear my hair curly. And you're seeing more and more of the natural hair.
Yes.
News anchors, black and white women. I've seen curly hair on both, and I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Because they're beautiful, and that's their hair.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they?
Yeah, and you know, and I still get relaxers, but I was talking with Sky a couple days ago, and she was saying how a lot of people do hair now. It's hard to find people who do relaxers because
I think your hair would be cute all curly.
Well, you know, I don't know about that, but you know, but
I see her daughter laughing back there. We might have to get her to just
changing. I'm gonna take. You know, look, they talk about the cancer risks and all that, but I'm like, well, that's one of the risks that I have to deal with that one.
Well, because there's a lot of risks with all the stuff that we've talked about today. You know, and
there's lots of risks.
Yeah, and you know what? But like you said, do what you want to do, and you know, just be the best version of yourself. And who cares what anybody else thinks?
Absolutely. Yes, do you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really want you to like and follow us. We want our community to grow. We're growing with you, actually.
Yeah.
We started December 18th, and wow, we're almost to February 18th.
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah, and well, I just set a date, and we probably should do that part again because this is going to air after the February 18th.
Right.
So sorry, I'm going to have to, that part, so let me start that part again. How about that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I think we had a great conversation.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, and I hope you can take something away from it, that just be yourself.
Be that authentic version of you that we talk about all the time.
Flaws and all. Look, you know what I mean? Who cares? And flaws, society says, right?
Yeah.
You know, wear that bikini if you got stretch marks. Who cares? Rock it out, girl. Rock it. You know, I mean, do the things that you want to do and that make you feel good because really that's what life's all about anyway. But we ask that you like and follow us. We want our community to grow with you, of course. This is We're at about 2 months of this podcast. Can you believe it?
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah. And we're learning so much. Like I said, we're trying a new studio today.
And we want to get to know all of you better. So make sure to comment on the videos. I was talking to someone who said they were watching and they said, well, I wasn't watching it live, so I didn't comment. I was like, well, you don't have to watch it live to comment. Just go ahead and comment. So that tell us, what are those beauty expectations that you have felt pressured to do?
Yeah, that, and I would say too, is there anything that you want to hear us talk about? I know one thing we're going to talk about, I mean, this is in a couple months with Mother's Day coming in May, but just kind of that mother-daughter dynamic. I've had multiple friends text me, you guys have to talk about this, and I know you probably have too.
Yeah.
And so we're getting lots of feedback from people, and no subject is off limits.
Well, we have a few.
Except politics. Yeah, we're not going to
talk religion.
About,
well, we talked a little bit about religion on the. Yeah, well,
maybe we'll talk. Yeah,
a little bit.
But politics, we're not going there at all. Yeah, we don't want to do politics, but definitely follow us on Instagram and YouTube and Spotify.
Yeah.
And every Wednesday we drop a new episode.
Yes.
So thank you so much for your support. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Yep.